All right, next we move to the Big East, where we bring in, I think, everyone's favorite college basketball analyst, John Fanta. It's been a pleasure getting to know this man, a pleasure working with him with the Field of 68 this year. And nobody better to analyze the Big East than Fanta himself. Fanta, we got to start with the number one overall seed in this tournament. That's Providence, a team that there's a running record of when you are in the building, this team seems to have a lot of success. You're going to be at this tournament, I assume. Does that mean Providence is going to run through this tournament?
Well, they certainly could, Greg and Carter, and here's why. Because if you look at their draw, they really are a beneficiary as a one seed. And you can't always say that about a conference tournament. Things could shake out differently. But they are going to play the winner of Xavier and Butler. Now, Xavier's been so inconsistent that you can't trust them the way you once did. All right, so let's say they move past that as expected. Then you get a Creighton team that's lost Ryan Nembhard for the year and just is not the same. When you lose your point guard this late in the year, and it's a freshman, that shows you where your point guard depth was. Marquette is the other team. They've kind of been a mystery here over the last 3-4 weeks. Okay, so now if you look at where Providence would be, that's the championship game. They could have a cruise to the title game. And the reason why this is all lining up for them, again, people call them fortunate, lucky. There's no question they've been on the right end of fortune. They've also won 24 of their 28 games. We will give them their credit for that. But the other side of the bracket is 2-seeded Villanova, 3-seeded UConn, and then the 6-seed Seton Hall, who's playing better than the 4 and 5.
Yep.
So that's the thing. Providence benefits off the bracket. They could win this tournament, but solely by the other side of the bracket literally being a war at the Garden.
Yeah, I think that's what makes it the most interesting for me, because we just got done actually talking about the Pac-12 and the ACC, and we're looking at these seeds that are playing on the first day. I mean, Seton Hall, one of my favorite teams in the Big East. I still think, that team fully healthy, playing at their best, is a team that could make a run in the March tournament. So they could definitely make a run here in the Big East. So outside of those top 4 teams, Fanta, who would you say is the team that's most dangerous that could, make that run to make it to the final and possibly win the Big East?
Outside the top 4 seeded teams?
Yes.
Well, Seton Hall's the 6, so I would sit here and say them because I think that they could pull off a win over Villanova or Connecticut. The Pirates have won 8 of their last 10 games. They defend really well. They're a 20-9 team now, and they're a team to me that knows who they are, and that's a team with length that protects the rim and that has enough, I wouldn't say shot makers, but enough guys that could pull up off the dribble from 15 to 17 feet. Seton Hall is like a UCLA light. Because, and it's funny, because guess who Kevin Willard's best friend is in the coaching profession?
Mick Cronin.
Yeah, they're best of friends. You
got the same haircut.
They have the same haircut, and they both worked for Rick Pitino. So there's a lot of similarities. Like the way Seton Hall plays, they're not a team that you say they're going to torch the Nets from 3. No, Jared Rhoden will beat you off the bounce from 15 feet. Miles Cale can do the same. The key thing with them is Kadari Richmond. He twisted his thumb in the win over Creighton on Saturday. He exited that game early. They won that game with their 4th-string point guard, Jameer Harris. It's kind of amazing. Yeah. They'll be a team that if Richmond's healthy, they're top 10 in average height in college basketball. So they protect the rim. KenPom likes them defensively. They've hovered around top 25, 30 in that category all throughout the season. If they get enough offense, they could be the Big East champions this week. They could. They could be a good Jerome pick, if you will, in this tournament because they are a 6 seed. There's real value.
Yeah. I thought it said a lot about who Seton Hall is last night. They went down very big early.
Yes.
Without Kadari Richmond, without Bryce Aiken. They easily could have hung it up on Creighton senior night. And instead, they battled back, took a lead before halftime after being down, I think, 13, 14 points early. They're not going to go away. And I've said all year, I'm going to trust Seton Hall too much in March. Like, I can already tell you, I'm going to pick this team to like Elite 8, if not Final 4, depending on the draw. I just love the way they play basketball. So I like the pick. I wish Seton
I don't know
Hall.
if you should do that.
Yeah, well, we're gonna find out. So I wish for this Big East tournament, I wish they were on the opposite side of the draw because it's tough for me to see them, okay, beat UConn, then beat Villanova, then beat Providence and or whoever comes out of that. It's just a gauntlet of a 4 days for Seton Hall. But, I may sprinkle on them because I love watching Seton Hall play. Fanta, give us a player. If there's one guy in this tournament who could have a Kemba Walker-esque, throw the team on their back and run through this Big East tournament, who would that player be?
Ooh. What a good question. I'm going bold.
Ooh.
Bold.
I love it.
Julian Champagny.
Wow.
From St.
I
John's.
like it, Fanta.
From St. John's. You're a New York City kid. You are a bucket. He is. We know he's a bucket. If St. John's, I think that they'll get past DePaul, who's actually played well the last couple of weeks. Like we joke about DePaul sometimes, but they've actually played pretty well. I think if they beat DePaul, they're going to face Villanova. Now, St. John's last year gave Villanova some matchup nightmares when they were engaged and when they pressed Gillespie. They got him into some problems. They really did. Can St. John's get the Garden on their side Thursday night and pull off a shocker? It's not out of the question. And if Champagny gets going, watch out. He is a bucket getter. So he could be that Kemba-like figure. Here's the thing. I want to go bold because you got to go bold this week. But I will tell you this. Of the top teams, who could be that guy? I'll do shades of UConn and I'll say RJ Cole because he is big time. He's big time. And he's an all Big East first teamer. That's a well-earned recognition for him that just came out in the last half hour. So I would go with Cole being the chalk answer, but keep an eye on Champagny because if St. John's is good, if we're going to get an upset, like we all thought St. John's would be a pretty good team. They have been underwhelming. They've not been good. But having him, when you have a star like him, and if Posh Alexander's going, and if Tariq Coburn and Montez Mathis do enough, St. John's is a team that could beat anybody in this conference. They just haven't shown it. I would have loved them if they were in an 8-9 game against Providence the next night. But they're not. But watch out for the Red Storm. You never know. They could be in a game with Villanova, and Champagny is the reason why.
I like that pick, fan. I love that St. John's team. Anderson, that team just, like you said, they haven't put it together necessarily at any point this year, maybe for like some halves or like so a little bit of a stretch run, but they never really fully put it together. But what better time? This is the last chance you got to put it together. So why not put it together for these last 4 days? I like that. Champagny's an absolute bucket in every sense of the word bucket.
Absolutely is.
Fanta, I don't know if it's just working with you or what, but I think you've swayed me into such a Big East fan. Like this is by far the conference tournament I'm most excited for. I think there's like 8 teams I can see winning this thing without just feeling like I'm in an alternate reality. Like obviously Villanova's very good. Providence has a horseshoe somewhere they shouldn't have a horseshoe. Like we love Seton Hall, we love UConn, but like even the teams in the 6 through 10 range, like St. John's, like you said, Xavier, I know they've been really down, but like when Xavier plays well, they're a really tough team. Marquette was so good earlier in the season. It wouldn't shock me for them to get hot. No pun intended, with shock there. But I just like, we're going to be at the Big Ten tournament this week. And I guarantee you, I'm going to be like checking scores on my phone from the Big East tournament the whole time.
Yeah. And look, I got my start with the Big East Network and now do the games for Fox Sports, a fair amount of conference games. So it's where I've cut my teeth. That being said, I do think that there is something to be said about this league not being on ESPN. And I'm a huge fan. I'm not trying to ruffle feathers at all. Like I'm not coming on here ripping ESPN. That's not what I'm here to do. But there's something to be said about that. And I think that when you look at the Big East Conference, and if you watch the games, you will quickly realize that, okay, we could discuss all day until the sun comes up, whether it's a top 3 or a top 4 conference. This year, it's been a top 3, if not definitely top 4 league in America. So, okay, it's got to place the big boy table. But I would venture to say that beyond just the quality, I don't think there's a Final Four team in this league in this particular year myself. It could happen. Anything could happen. I do think it is one or two in entertainment value. The games are really good because the league has this quality to it that's sort of different. And I just think it's fun. I think it's a league that can throw some curveballs. And I really do think from top to bottom, with the exception of this year, Georgetown, that the 10 of the 11 teams walk into the Garden this week believing that they could actually win it. And in these conference tournaments, guys, you don't get that. You don't.
Right. 100%.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. That's what I feel like the one word I could use to describe every Big East game I watched this year. It's a battle. Like, it doesn't matter who it is. It's a battle. And like that's great. Just watching dudes compete hard. Like that's the greatness of basketball.
And the Garden will be off the wall loud. Off with UConn back.
Yeah.
Oh boy, watch out. Here we go.
Yeah. Shameless plug. We'll be doing some Field of 68 shows from the Garden live. John Fanta will be there holding it down for the Field of 68. So tune in for all of those next week. Fanta, we have to leave you with this. We're putting you on the spot. Give us your semifinals predictions and then give us the championship matchup and who wins.
Semifinals, Providence and Marquette, as well as Villanova UConn. Final, Providence UConn.
Woo!
Do it. Is he doing? Are you doing it, Fanta?
Providence wins the Big East championship.
Wow!
I thought you were going UConn. I like it though. I like it.
Hey, as an unashamed Providence bandwagon fan, I pray that happens. I need the Friars to win this tournament. I am all in on it. Oh my goodness.
There it is.
Fanta, thank you so much for making time. We appreciate you. Have fun next week at the Garden. I'm sure you will. And I look forward to watching everything you're doing through March, man.
Love the sleepers. Thanks, guys. I'll see you soon.